Darkstar Astrology, bringing you the full moon coming up on April the 7th, and it's going to be at 18 degrees Libra. It will occur just about the day after the Jupiter conjunct Pluto, and at the same time as Mars square Uranus. So like the last new moon, the explosive themes will continue. Sorry, just checked. Jupiter conjunct Pluto is actually 4th of April. So when I say tail end, I mean it's, you know, it's close enough. And it will also align with Kraz in the constellation of Corvus the Crow, which means gossipy crows will only throw more drama fuel onto the fire. So the moon here seems to create either mad geniuses or brings out the vilest attributes of the crow. The birth native will be active, resourceful, shameless, merciless, and a thief and a drunkard, says Vivian Robson of the moon's position here on the crow. That's actually Algorab, but Kraz is one of the other stars in the same constellation. They're very near each other. Now, by dignity, the moon is not happy in Libra Decan 2. It is unsure of itself and probably much too concerned with what others think of them. Those touched by this moon will strive to succeed so they can win the approval of an audience. Now, this, as you will see as I carry on with my theme of what's been going on, is the whole thing with peer pressure and not wanting to stick your head out above the consensus. And this is something that I've been fearing as well. But the more I research into this situation that we have going on, that we can't even mention the word anymore because of YouTube's rules, and in case you might be spreading fake news, I think we all know what we're talking about because that's all anybody's talking about. You don't want to say things that, you know, if it's not as serious as they say it is, and people are dying, obviously you don't want to seem, you know, encouraging people to die and putting people's lives at risk because of nurses and doctors in hospitals saying anybody who goes outside and doesn't stand 2 meters apart from the next person are putting people's lives at risk, and they're stressing the NHS. I mean, that's the main message that's going on. But I will get onto that later because I have lots to say. But just continuing with the moon, because I want to just get the moon bit out of the way, so anybody who doesn't really want to hear the political side of things will get the moon. So yes, moon decan to Libra brings out the classic narcissists who forever crave adoration, and we can see some of the celebrity meltdowns going on at the moment, like Madonna for one, just hilarious. On the positive side, we can use this energy to generate a following that does good works in the collective. At this time, we could crave to be loved and approved of so much that we may not be discerning enough when it comes to whom we give our body. But that will be quite hard to do in the current climate anyway, because obviously we can't just pick up people on Tinder. So this is quite a good time for practicing physical hygiene, I think, or psychic hygiene, really. And I would imagine the cases of venereal disease will go down as well. So let's learn a little bit more about the fixed star Kraz found in Corvus the Crow. So all the stars of Corvus actually do fall in Libra Decan 2, where this moon is. So the mythology of this constellation is really important here. I've got a special post all about Algorab on Darkstar Astrology, so I'll leave the link for that below. But this moon isn't actually on Algorab, it's on Kraz. So it's a little bit further away. But actually, Algorab is only 4 degrees away, so it's not that far away. Now, the myth goes that the sun god Apollo sent the raven with a cup, constellation Crater, which is next door to it, to fetch some water for his feast. On his way, he was distracted by some fine figs on a tree and lost track of time gorging upon them. But when the crow suddenly remembered his errand, he picked up a passing snake, which is constellation Hydra, and used it as an excuse for why he'd not filled up the cup as asked. So that's kind of interesting symbolism as well. Snakes and their sneaky ways. Then another myth says that the raven was given a task by Apollo of keeping a watchful eye on Apollo's pregnant lover Coronis. What? Oh my God. Coronis. Blimey. I just, it never ceases to amaze me, synchronicity, because I just completely forgot about that when I was posting this, when I actually put it up. Anyway, the raven reported back to Apollo the unwelcome news that she was having an affair with someone else. Coronis, sorry. Apollo, in anger, cursed the raven, and its colour changed from its former silver hue to its present black. So the constellation is actually like Mars and Saturn, which today are in conjunction, I think it is today. Yes. Oh, yes, it is. Double checked. It's said to give craftiness, greediness, ingenuity, patience, revengefulness, passion, selfishness, lying, aggressiveness, and material instincts, not maternal, and sometimes causes its natives to become agitators. So I would add to this also they would make great gossips, journalists, and paparazzi who prey on the misfortune of others. Now, I called this post Pretty Little Liars after the Netflix series, and it's funny because again I did this before I watched a good few fear porn type videos on YouTube, and I'll talk about those in a minute. But yeah, it really fits with this title now. But the main influence on the public during this full moon will be Mars square Uranus and Jupiter conjunction Pluto still, because it's still in an orb. So a bit on Jupiter conjunction Pluto. In modern times, oil is a currency for our planet and has made globalism possible through long distance travel. Jupiter. And Bill Gates has Jupiter conjunct Pluto in his second house of cash, by the way. Gates embodies this archetype very well with his so-called philanthropical good causes, and Jupiter conjunct Pluto can also be a vow of poverty to achieve some kind of spiritual power. Now, Bill Gates just keeps coming up in everything I research. So again, I'll tell you about that later. But wealth can therefore be spiritual gold, as in the case of Mahatma Gandhi. The spiritual guru lived a very Spartan life, which is the total opposite of millionaire, but which is what this aspect is supposed to be known as well sometimes. But this aspect can use religion to wield power over others in a more sinister way, of course. More on that later. And also, Mars square Uranus is also the other aspect. So that's the sharp blades of Mars combined with Uranus's sudden action are great in an emergency. Here we go. Emergency, ambulances. More about that later. Fireworks are symbolic of this aspect too, literally as well as in temperament. And yes, a quick temper. This will certainly cause in the collective. Stamina isn't our forte either at this full moon, and Mars square Uranus is impulsive and quick off the mark, 0 to 60 in 30 seconds, very decisive and incisive. We will know what we want and how to get it as quickly as possible. It's also a fantastic revolutionary, can rouse a crowd and get them to act with speed and efficiency. It's so electrically charged that it works like a battery power, therefore it can really inspire and enthuse others into action. Electrical as well, thinking of EMFs, thinking of 5G, more on that later. So the second phase of Libra is this is really weird. It's been a succession of using the symbolism of a black man. But anyway, here we go. A black man having a journey of marriage and joy. This is the face of quiet, joy, abundance of the good life. So that's that one. So all those together, it's just very synchronicical. So I have to say, did you just hear that ping on my phone? Well, this is really weird as well, because this is an ex of mine who's actually got Moon and Venus on the Crow as well. And it's just uncanny. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about was the Pretty Little Liars, first of all. This has struck me because, I don't know, this is all very anecdotal, so I'm just going to have to tell you the story of how I survived quite a difficult week, shall we say, but I'm feeling all right now. And I'll give you some links to the things that actually made me feel all right, so that maybe it might help some people who are panicking. Because honestly, in the last week, I hadn't really been out of the house, go out to post a letter. First thing I see is an ambulance in the middle of our road. Some guy running, looking very anxious with, well, just the mask on. He didn't have the full suit. He didn't have the white suit on, but he was running somewhere. But we didn't see him going to any house. That was a weird thing. The ambulance just stopped in the middle of the road so that for the whole road to see, this guy runs somewhere with the kind of medical kit. He just had this kind of green bag. And all the neighbours were looking out the windows, obviously, and somebody was going, oh, I think that's going into 39. Or I don't know. Anyway. But then it just kind of disappeared. And I don't know where he went. Nobody really knew. So that was that. Then 4 days later, we're having a lovely, watching The Office American style, laughing, feeling good and all that, me and my daughter. And we get a phone call from her friend who lives across the road saying, oh my God, there's an ambulance, it's down my road. They're taking this guy out and they've got the mask and everything. And they know the guy as well. They do know him. So that made me really sick. So I thought, what, 2 ambulances in our road in 1 week, because it's easy to switch off the news and you think, it's all just in the news, but I haven't seen anything yet. But then, you think that, and then that happens. And then the morning after, the morning, sorry, I'm laughing because of nerves. It's not because I think it's funny, but it's just weird. The morning after, and this one really is sad. This was bang next door to my neighbour, my daughter's friend, who again rang up and said, now it's next door. And they went in, and this guy is 93. And so the ambulance went in and they said something about, he was having difficulty breathing. But then they went, so they didn't take him with them. And I just immediately, my heart sank and I just thought, oh God, did he die? But I didn't know how old he was at that point. I just thought it was like the neighbour. Then at about 6 o'clock the same day, a private ambulance came, and then we got another text saying, oh my God, they're taking out a body. It's, and that just freaking really threw me because my mum's crying and he was 93. But then my other neighbour rang up and she said, oh, what was all this commotion down the end of the road? And I said, well, yeah, I told her. She goes, oh, I know him. She goes, I know him. He's 93. He's been ill for ages. He's got a weak heart. And, she said, yeah, he's been ill for ages. So we don't, but she said, why do you think it was corona? And I said, well, because I saw the ambulance in the morning. And now thinking back, he didn't need to do this. There was only one guy in the whole full white suit, and as he got out of it in the middle of the road. The police came as well to sort of like stop the traffic if there was, traffic coming past, which I thought was totally unnecessary because there was no traffic coming past. But because the police had just parked so that no traffic could get through, there were cars obviously in time building up and then having to go back, which again alerts the whole road into, oh my God, there's something corona going on. And this guy got out of his white suit in the middle of the road, and I was looking out the window, obviously saw it all. He does the whole kind of dramatic thing of taking it out, putting it in a bag, and then, but he didn't do it in secret. It was like, really like, everyone look at me. And, we were pretty much traumatised after that for like the whole day and night, feeling completely sick. My daughter was freaking out because she's had a cough as well for weeks. But she's actually better now, thank God. But the thing is, thinking back to it, I just thought, I don't know, was that all really necessary? And thinking back to it, the first one, we don't know if it really was coronavirus. Didn't see anything. The second one, he was taken to hospital, yes. The third one, unfortunately, died. But he had ongoing health problems, and we don't really know if it was corona anyway. So yeah. So then I've been reading this book, and it's called What Really Makes You Ill, Why Everything You Thought You Knew About Disease is Wrong. And it's going on about the germ theory, and just really interesting. I'm not going to talk all about it. Just look it up. The author is Dawn Lester and David Parker, and they've been interviewed, I think, on Crow 777. Yes, they have. And that's how I found out about them. Eye-opener. It really made me think, hang on, can you even get, are viruses even contagious? And I know I'm not a doctor, but anyway. Then I was watching some doctors, and I'd seen, now this is the thing, I'd seen this video before on YouTube of Italy, northern Italy. And I do believe what I think is that, I think it's to do with 5G. Milan had a massive, big influx of 5G 8 months ago. So it was like an experimental city. And Italy's got it really bad. And I think it's only in the north, because I've got family in the south. No, but I've not heard. Nobody knows anyone with it. I know anecdotal, but I've not heard of anyone from there. But here's something that I thought was really interesting, because I saw a broadcast with this doctor, and she's in the hospital it's in Lombardy, which is near Milan, a village there. Her name is Dr. Manuela Catenacci, and she does exist. And this is Cremona, bloody word. Cremona, even the word doesn't that sound like something? Crematorium, Cremona, weird. Anyway, so there's that hospital, and she's being interviewed there. Now, yesterday I saw a report that is like, trouble's flaring up in the south of Italy, the virus is spreading down there as well. And then they show a hospital, supposedly, we imagine, because they're talking about the south of Italy, that this hospital must be in the south of Italy. And guess what? It's the same Emanuela, her face again. She's opening doors for the reporter. They're walking down a corridor. They don't interview her this time, but it's definitely the same woman, because I did a photo. I took a photo of her. Maybe I should post it. I'll post it so you can see. It's definitely the same woman. And it's just dishonest, because they're using footage, which was probably from North Italy, to describe South Italy, when it's not. It doesn't say which hospital, nothing. And then I was looking at let me see if there's any footage from real doctors talking about this. And there's loads. If you go on Google, there's loads and loads on all the, but it's all on the mainstream channels, no sort of behind the scenes doctors from just normal people. It's all on the mainstream. And there's a lot of junior doctors crying and saying, I can't cope, it's getting really bad. I'm in a North London hospital, don't say which one. And she's saying, so I'm just saying to everyone, please stay at home, save the NHS. And really, really cry. I mean, I know it must be, NHS people, doctors, they really are, I'm not saying that they're not working hard, and they work hard at the best of times all the time, an accident, an emergency, God bless them, But, I mean, I'm wondering if they're being stretched on purpose, which is even worse and really cruel. And then there's this Irish nurse, and she's crying as well and saying, please stay at home, all this thing. And then it occurred to me, there's not one, old male doctor. It's all young women. They're all pretty as well, and they're all white as well. And I just thought, normally with all things we get sort of diversity, don't we? And they always make sure they show people are represented from all groups and ages and everything. But it's all young women. They're all, under 30, I'd say. I mean, maybe they're the ones that do the tears more than, older white, guys. And so it's more emotive. But it just makes you suspicious, doesn't it? Then I found some other things. They're on my Twitter feed. Just go and look at them. Like some people coming in to a housing block, and there's an old homeless guy, I think, there who died. And but again, this happens a lot. Homeless guys who was a drinker, and this woman saying he's not dead. They took him to hospital. Sorry, he didn't die. But the thing is, there were these men walking around the building in the white suits, putting leaflets under the doors saying, "Stay indoors, someone died." And this woman said, he didn't die. I was feeding him. I saw that he went to hospital. He's fine. He just collapsed because he'd been drinking. So the thing is, I completely smell a rat. I really do. I just think, even though I started off this week absolutely panicking, I was feeling so sick to my guts with all these ambulances, worrying every time my daughter coughed. I was really panicking, seriously, really, like anything that came through the door. And I still do this because old habits die hard. All right, because you still never know. Clean it with the disinfectant wipes. I got 200, so no, actually I've got 400. And anything that, like shopping that comes through, it's all the fruit is sprayed with vinegar and whatever, and everything is wiped down, and I put gloves on, and it's, crazy. But now I actually, my intuition sort of is calmer, because I'm seeing there's a lot of videos now that are people saying, I'm standing outside accident and an emergency and there's nothing going on, and Okay, sorry for the extended rant then, but I just had to make sure I got it all out and all the links and everything, because it's really, I think we're probably getting a little bit crazy by now, and especially today because of the Mars and Saturn conjunction as well. And another person I forgot to mention is Janet Ossenbaard. I had to write it on my hand. She's from the Netherlands. She's been doing some really amazing videos, and they just kind of join all the dots for me. And she keeps bringing up Bill Gates as well. And we know that I think vaccination is coming, and I think what they're trying to do is get us to the point where we're pleading for it, because I don't think they want to enforce it. They don't enforce it in the UK. They're not mandatory, and my daughter isn't vaccinated. But I just think that's what's coming, and they are really ranking up the fear now, and they've been doing it incrementally, because they didn't do this in the beginning, and you could see. So we just have to. I benefited greatly by not clicking on anything that comes up that looks clickbaity. Just don't do it, because that's what they're doing. They're really playing with the mental health and getting people to beg for vaccinations. I think that's what it is. So the best thing you can do is fall down some rabbit holes. I did, and I'm so glad I did, because they're what saved my sanity, because I was getting really, really worried to the point that I was actually scared to go out, and even go out for my nature walks. So we went out on our nature walk 2 days ago. So nice, and that's it. So keep in contact with nature if you're allowed to where you are, because not every country does. At least in England, we're allowed 30 minutes of exercise a day, which can be, yeah. But what I'm going to do, but maybe I shouldn't say it in case they follow me, but I was wondering whether I might cycle along to an hospital that's very close to me, actually. It's definitely within 30 minutes of exercise, and maybe take a short video each day and see how it develops, and see if there are more ambulances going in and out, and if it does seem more chaotic or not, because there are people doing that, and they're saying, strange, it's all very quiet and not the hysteria that everyone's been making out. So, I mean, I'm in the epicenter, apparently. Have you heard a siren going on? Oh God, the amount of interruptions I've had trying to make this video. Someone just rang me in the middle of it, so I turned it off. Anyway, so I wanted to just kind of finish off. I've lost my train of thought now. But just take care. And I think I would really love to know if you're in an epicenter and if you live near a hospital. I really wish I lived opposite one. Just keep an eye on it and see, how things progress, because the only way we're going to know about, what the truth is by observation. We know that there are such things as crisis actors, and I've been watching some of the doctors and the nurses, and they are believable. I mean, I kind of felt for them, but there was one that I forgot to mention. I just feel terrible for laughing at it, because it just seems okay. It's Google it or look it up on YouTube. It's called This Is For Real. This is for real. And it's basically this guy who sounds, like a real member of the public. He doesn't sound like... I think they're trying to make him someone that you can believe, because he sounds a little bit, let's say... he's not posh. He's not white middle class or anything like that. He's kind of on the streets, and he's just going, this is for real, this is for real. And then you just see, and before you see the video, they've got, viewers might find this distressing for ages, for like a whole minute, so that it really prepares you. And apparently this is in New York. They are loading what appears to be bodies, just in plastic wrap or something, in a forklift into a van. And the people standing around it are wearing the sort of the mask and the blue kind of gear, and maybe maybe covering their hair. But then you look at the bottom half of them, it's just they're wearing trainers and jeans. That's what I'm saying. Highly suspicious to me. And and he goes, I'm shaking so much because he's shaking, so the video's really shaky, so you can't really see anything. But it's because he's so traumatized, presumably. Now, I feel awful saying this, because I think, what if it was true? What if it was true? And I'm saying, I don't know, because I'm thinking, why would they put... Surely these bodies, if they're going to be buried or cremated at some point, wouldn't they be in coffins? Like in Italy, they might not have any room for them, but they wouldn't pile them into a van on a forklift. Would they really? So... But I'm shocked at the Telegraph, because the Telegraph is like the Sunday Times. It's usually with trust, and they're putting this up. So makes you really wonder. So I'll leave you with that. But look it up, and see if you feel like I did. And in the end, I got the giggles. And I really feel so bad that I got the giggles. But it just seemed you know, I hope I'm right that it's fake, because if it's real, then first I'll feel absolutely shit and awful. And if it is real, then that's panic again. Oh, all right then. Well, look, take care. I don't want to leave you on panic, because I wanted to end it on... It's so ludicrous that hopefully when we come out of this, we're all going to breathe a sigh of relief and be so much better for it, and wiser too. All right then, look, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.